Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope that everyone is doing well on this lovely Valentine's Day. I did want to come on today and talk to you guys a little bit in regards to how I make money working from home and how you can do the exact same thing. I get so many messages every single day. And I wanted to come and I wanted to share some tips and tricks and let y'all ask me all of the questions that you want to ask from me. And maybe I can help y'all start making some of this money from the house too. Hi, Charmaine. Hi, it's me. Hi, Dimples. Hi, Elaine. For those of you that are going to be watching this back on the replay, we're actually loud, live, and in color right now. So there are people over in the chat box. So if you hear me speaking to people or if you hear me answering questions, that's why I am doing so, because we are live. But again, this is going to be on replay. So if you're not able to catch it live, it'll definitely be available for you guys to watch back. Because I know a lot of people are probably getting ready for work right now, or a lot of people are probably already at work and they're not able to, actually join in on this live show. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Talisha. Hi, Sholotan, Nene. How y'all doing? So, like I said, y'all thumbs this video up for me if you enjoy these types of videos. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of different things on this channel, but I feel like I'm one of those types of people that feel like sharing is caring. And I feel like if I have some information that I, feel is valuable to those of you that are seeking work, period, not necessarily even a work from home, but for those of you that are seeking work, period. But there are a lot of people out there that are looking for legitimate work at home jobs. I'm not talking about these scams out there. I'm not talking about these people that are just looking for your money and ain't giving you nothing in return. I'm talking about 100% legitimate work at home jobs. I do have me some talking points here. Thank you so much, Melinda. Hi, Sean. Hi, Arkansas. I do have some talking points here, because if I did not have some talking points, I would literally be here all day just rambling on and on, because you guys know that I love to talk to y'all. I love to read the chat, but I gotta stay on topic, because if I don't, I'll venture off. And before I get into this, I do want to say I want to thank each and every one of you guys for the comments that you left on my last video. That's why I love y'all so much, for real. Y'all really helped me. You might not think you did, but I read every single one of those comments on my channel, and I love each and every one of y'all. I really do. Good morning, Sharon. Now, like I said, I'm going to be taking questions after I talk a little bit, letting y'all know how I make full-time money working from home and how you can do the exact same thing. It ain't no secret to it, okay? It's just that a lot of people don't know the workings of it, the ins and outs of it. So it seems foreign to them, and they don't really understand how people can actually sit in their house and make money. I want to give y'all a little bit of a backstory about how I started working from home. If you don't necessarily like, listening to long drawn out videos, like I said, I do have to give a backstory to let y'all know where I came from and where I am now. If y'all don't want to listen to all of that, I do have some links in the description box where y'all can go over and check out my website, where I list 100% legitimate work at home jobs that you guys can actually go and apply to right now. As a matter of fact, American Express is currently hiring customer service representatives. I think the starting pay, like the minimum, is like $15 and some change an hour. And girl, that's full benefits. So go and check out the website, apply to the job, and get your life. Okay. But this is how I started working from home. Okay. When I first started this channel, I was working for an abuse shelter. And for those of you that have been following me for any length of time, you know that I used to do thrifting videos for a lot of the women and a lot of the children that were actually living in the shelter at the time. And that's where I was working. But to be completely honest with you, I wasn't necessarily making a decent living. I just felt, girl, it wasn't that I was miserable. It's just that I wanted more for myself. I wanted to make more money. I did go to college, but the gag is, girl, I went to 4 years of college, but the gag is I never graduated. I never finished. My daddy went to his grave being upset with me. Okay. I majored in criminal justice. Then I changed my major to girl, I changed it so many times. At one point I wanted to do nursing, but when I found out the end, girl, like literally you didn't know that being a nurse, you were going to have to give people shots and draw blood and that type of thing. I changed my major so many times, y'all, but I legit never finished. And I just felt like I was just going to be stuck for the rest of my life. But the devil is a lie. Okay. When you pray about something, you pray about it and you pray about it and you pray about it, regardless of whether or not you think God hears you or not, he does. He hears you. Okay. But I was working at this abuse shelter for women and children. And I just remember being in the right place at the right time because I had been applying for work at home jobs for years. And there are a lot of people who reach out to me on a daily basis and they're like, girl, look, I've been applying to these work at home jobs for 2-3 years. Some people say I've been applying for these work at home jobs for 2 or 3 months, and they just can't understand why nobody is contacting them. Let me tell you something. There are so many people out there that are looking for work at home jobs because, girl, who wouldn't want to be able to just roll out of their bed, wash their face, brush their teeth, get their kids ready for school, send them on out the door, come into their home office and work and make money. Everybody wants to do that, right? So the supply and demand is just high. Okay, you got more people that are looking for the jobs than there are jobs available. But I do not let that discourage you, because I promise you, if you persevere, if you continue to look for a work at home job, it might take you a minute, but you're gonna land it. And once you land that work at home job, it's just gonna be like it's going to be a domino effect. You're going to develop relationships with other people who are, people who work from home, and, people who, a lot of times it ain't what you know, it's who you know. Okay. A lot of times it's not the working knowledge that you have of a certain, in a certain field. It's who you know. We all know the same goes for a job if you're working outside of the home. Okay. A lot of times you might have the credentials, but you might not know anybody that works there, or somebody who's, who can get your foot in the door. It ain't what you know, it's who you know. So keep applying. I'm going to tell y'all that right now, because it's so much money on the internet. Okay. It's so much money on the internet. Y'all just will not understand. Okay. So that's how I decided. Like I said, I just got tired of barely making ends meet. And I was like, you know what? I want to see if I can start working for myself, because when you do work from home, not always, but you're going to be either an independent contractor. And depending on the company that you work for, sometimes they will hire you as an employee. And what the difference between being an independent contractor and being an employee is if you're an employee, it's just like you're working outside the home. You're working inside of the home, but when you're an employee, they actually take taxes out of your check. Okay. So you'll actually get tax deductions removed from your check. But if you're an independent contractor, which means you're basically working for yourself, you're just under contract with specific companies or people, and they just pay you straight. And at the end of the year, you have to pay your own taxes. And I always like to tell people, if you are going to work from home, the first thing that you need to do is you need to understand, if you are going to be an independent contractor, which basically means you work for yourself, but you're just contracted through someone, you need to understand that at the end of the day, you need to make sure you put X amount of money away every month. That way, at the end of the year, you're able to, pay Uncle Sam without having to worry about having to pay, $4,000 and $5,000 at the end of the year. You can do deductions. Of course, you can write off your computer, your lights, your internet, all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, you need to make sure you're putting away X amount of money. That way you're able to pay Uncle Sam at the end of the year, because he's definitely he gonna want his money. Okay. He gonna definitely want his money. But I forgot exactly. Oh, this is it, because I like I said, y'all know when I go into my rabbit holes, when I start talking in circles, I forget my place. But again, I was working at the abuse shelter. I was tired of just barely making ends meet, and I said, you know what? I want to work for myself. I feel like I'm ready to work for myself. I'm ready to try to do this work at home thing. So of course, for years, I had been applying to these dead end jobs, these mailing, stuffing envelopes types. I done been scammed plenty of times myself before I learned that, if it sounds too good to be true, 9 times out of 10, it probably is. So I've been scammed myself. So I found out about this website online called workplacelikehome.com. It was an amazing work at home community, where you were able to go on there, ask any type of question. These are people who have been working for home 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Okay. And it was just a website where you can go, you can find out about different jobs they were currently hiring. You can also talk to people who currently work for these companies, and they can give you their reviews on them. And I'll never forget, I was scrolling through the message boards on workplacelikehome.com, and there was this young lady on there who posted that it was a job available, and she was looking for somebody to work under her. So of course, I felt like, it's time for me to shoot my shot. So I just sent her a private message. I didn't think necessarily that she was going to reach back out to me. Like I said, I was trying anything at that point to get my foot in the door. So I sent her a private message, and she messaged me back like I think within like 30 minutes. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this company called Fancy Hands. As a matter of fact, Fancy Hands is hiring right now, right now. Okay. Fancy Hands is hiring right now. And those of you that don't know what Fancy Hands is, Fancy Hands is like a virtual assistant company online where you'll do like small tasks, stuff like maybe, you got these people out there. I ain't gonna necessarily say they rich, or I'm gonna say very busy people. Okay. They may want you to do things like schedule their doctor's appointments. They may want you to call. I've even had some of the craziest tasks when I first started working from home for Fancy Hands. Some of the craziest tasks, things like I have this one lady who wanted me to, in the morning, call her daughter to wake her up for school every morning. I mean, you literally have people that pay you to do stuff like that. I had this woman who literally had me call her daughter to wake her up for school in the morning. Okay. I mean, there are a ton of different tasks that people want you to do. Some of them are a little bit more complicated. You may have some people out there who want you to do research on the cheapest flights from Atlanta, Georgia to New York City. Okay. It's just a bunch of different things. Or you may have someone who wants you to do something simple and they want you to find out what time Pizza Hut open. Y'all might be thinking to yourself, what kind of crazy people out there were paying you, like, just say, like I said, they paid you per task. And again, I want y'all to let y'all know that Fancy Hands is hiring right now. Okay. But the way they pay you is per task. So every time you do one of these tasks that these people ask you to do, they have a dashboard. You log in the morning, or you log in at night, or whenever you decide that you want to work. These tasks, they will pop up on the board. You click them. You have to claim the task first. So, because it's more than you that's working. You have to, grab the task. You have to claim it. And whatever the person wants you to do, you have to do it. Okay. I've even had someone who sent a task in that they wanted me to play a prank on someone. They wanted me to call, like I said, I might be wrong on the person, but I think they wanted me to call. It was either their boyfriend or their girlfriend and sing a song to them. It'd be the stupidest stuff, family. And they'll pay you like, $7 to $10, sometimes $3, depending on the task. I'm going to say between $3 and $10 for each one of these things. Just say, for instance, somebody wants you to call and see, or they want you to do a little bit of research and find out what time Pizza Hut on Fifth Avenue opens. They might pay you $3 for that. Or like I said, the lady that wanted me to call and wake her daughter up for school, that task paid, I want to say, of course, this has been so many years ago. This is when I first started working from home, when I was like 20 some odd years old, very young. Okay. I think that task probably paid me $5. So just think about it. If you do, and these things take anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes to do each one of them. Okay. So it doesn't take any time at all. Just imagine if you're making between $3 and $10 for each one of those tasks that you do, you can make quite a decent amount of money per hour. Okay. Quite a decent amount of money per hour. Y'all make sure y'all check out the description box. Like I said, work at home, wahjobqueen.com. Look in the description box and y'all can see what I'm talking about. That was my very first job working from home. I was working for Fancy Hands as my very, very first job, because I just literally was in the right place at the right time. I saw this lady that said she was looking for somebody to work under her. I sent her a message. I didn't think she was necessarily going to message me back, but she did. And when you start working for certain companies, they have these group chats on Skype. They also have this place called Slack, where you're basically working with other people who work from home. So it's kind of like, like I said, it became a domino effect. I developed working relationships with other people who were also working from home. So it helped me to learn about other opportunities that were out there. And it also, put me in the category of a person who knew somebody that knew somebody. Like I said, it ain't always what you know, it's who you know. Okay. So once you get your foot in the door, like I said, you start, developing relationships with other people who work from home, and you develop these working relationships, and they give you working knowledge on opportunities that are out there, and they might put you in contact with the right person who's going to put you in a position to be able to make a decent amount of money. So that was my very first job working from home. I think I was like maybe 23, 24 years old. That was my very first job working from home. Okay. Now, my next job, I actually found out about this job from a person that I was working with at Fancy Hands. Okay. This ties back into you actually developing these relationships with people that you start working with. this young lady told me about this company that was hiring and family. When I tell you, my mouth hit the floor when I found out how much these people were paying. Because again, I was like 24 years old, and girl, I wasn't making no ends working at that abuse shelter. It was a very rewarding job. I got a lot. I enjoyed working with women and children that were living there, but I wasn't making no money for real, for real. So to me, when she was like, girl, they paying $18 an hour, I was like, $18 an hour. And it was like, you were able to get a maximum of 60 hours per week. Now, I did sign a non-disclosure agreement with that particular company, so I'm not able to divulge and go into specifics as to what that company was. That was a temporary contract. Once the contract ran out, that job was over with. But I always like to give people the advice that if you're going to work from home, you definitely need to make sure you have multiple eggs in your basket. You might hear that terminology several different times. Okay. You might hear a lot of people use that terminology when they say you need to have multiple eggs in your basket. What they mean by that is you need to have multiple contracts, or you need to at least be able to, juggle at least two jobs working from home, especially when you're an independent contractor, because your contract can end at any time. Okay. Your contract can end at any time. A lot of times they'll give you a set amount of either months or years that the contract will last, but you need to definitely make sure that you have something else lined up, or you're going to be out of work. Okay. So you need to make sure you have multiple eggs in your basket. So while I was doing this job that this young lady told me about, where I was making them $18 out, girl, I thought I was rich. Okay. When I tell you, I thought I was rich, that lasted about a year and a half, almost 2 years. But while I was doing that, I made sure I still worked fancy hands during my downtime. And the thing that I loved about Fancy Hands and this new company was there were no set hours. That's another thing that I love about working from home, is that with a lot of these jobs, you can make your own hours. You can set your own hours. And that's something that a lot of people are looking for. I'm not saying that it happens all the time, but more oftentimes than not, depending on the company, you can set your own hours, especially if you're an independent contractor. And I do want to put that out there. Yolanda said it depends on what you do. There is stuff on site now, but I'm not sure if I want to do those. Well, girls, I mean, just keep your eye out. Okay. Keep your eye out for other opportunities that I'm going to be putting on there very, very soon. So, like I said, I did that for a year and a half, 2 years, and then that contract ended. Now, while I was, again, like I said, you always need to keep multiple eggs in your basket. Okay. While I was doing Fancy Hands and I was working for this company, I found this other job that I thought was really, really cool. The only thing that I didn't like about it, a lot of these jobs working from home are really, really simple, but they're very repetitive, and they can get a little annoying every now and then. But I found this job working for this, it was called Home Away from Home. And the thing that I loved about Home Away from Home was that it was very simple. I didn't have to talk on anybody. I didn't have to talk to anyone on the phone. And all I was basically doing was I was updating this company's websites with their vacation rentals. Okay. I was updating these companies' websites with vacation rentals. So all I was doing was the company, the project manager, she would send me images and she would send me a description of the properties. And all I was basically doing was going to their website every day, making sure that they had all of their vacation rentals that were currently available to be rented. I was basically updating their website with the current pictures, descriptions, how many people that the homes or the rooms were able to sleep, those types of things, and things that were available to do in the area for people that were going on vacation. So that is another job that I made sure that I was doing. Like I said, again, I made sure I had multiple eggs in my basket while I was basically working from home. Okay. So I did that, like I said, the one company for 2 years. That contract ended, and I was still doing Fancy Hands and this Home Away from Home company. Now let me go back to my talking points, because remember I told y'all I wrote down some notes, and y'all can tell that I ain't looked down at my notes not one time, right? Hi Connie. How many hours do I work a week? It varies. Sometimes I work anywhere from 50 to 60 hours per week. It really depends on how many I want to work that week. I'm going to answer, matter of fact, I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer some of you guys' questions, and then I'm going to continue on because I am taking questions for anybody that wants to ask me any type of questions or anything like that. Shannon said, does Fancy Hands hire outside of the U.S.? I'm not 1,000% sure about that. I'm not 1,000% sure if they hire outside of the U.S. I think it's U.S. only, to be honest. Lim said, how do you find, how long does it take to find clients? It depends. Okay. It depends. Like I said, it's not always about what you know. It's about who you know. It's not necessarily hard. It's just a matter of how many other people are also applying to that job. Okay. MB said, how do they pay you, and how do we give our social security number, etc.? It depends on the company. Some companies actually pay you with the check. Some companies directly deposit the money into your account. That's how I've always worked as far as when it comes to my independent contractor contracts. They always just deposit the money into your account on payday. Now with Fancy Hands, when I was working with Fancy Hands paid you, I think it was once per week, or maybe it was once every 2 weeks on Thursday. I don't exactly remember, but Fancy Hands paid you through PayPal. But I think now Fancy Hands has something called Dwala that they pay you through. Like, I haven't worked for Fancy Hands for years, okay? But when I was working for them back in the day, they paid you through PayPal. I'm going to get back into my talking points in a second, but I want to make sure I answer some of these questions. Yolanda said it depends on what you want to do. There's stuff on the site now, but I'm not sure. Okay, I answered that. I talked about that already. And I answered Connie's question. How many hours a week do you work? Hi, Ophelia. All right. Let me continue. Now, I also want to let you guys know that a lot of people don't know about this. Like I said, there's plenty of money to be made on the internet. YouTube is another form of income for me. Now, I don't make a ton of money on YouTube, okay? Especially now that YouTube, they're a little bit different than they were before. All of the situations that went on with the advertisers. So, of course, YouTubers aren't making a lot of money now because they very rarely put ads on people's videos. If they do put an ad on your video, it pays pennies. But YouTube is another form of income for me. Like I said, I don't make a steady income on YouTube. Is very, up and down. You never know how much you're going to make this month. To me personally, I would never. I know there are a lot of people that always like to ask me, is YouTube your full-time job? Absolutely not. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that YouTube maybe helps me pay a bill or two, but in no shape, form, or fashion is YouTube feasible enough for me to be able to support myself working just full time off of YouTube. You have to get thousands and thousands and millions of views to make a livable income from YouTube. Okay. But that is another one of my eggs that I have in my basket currently. Shannon said, if you are aware of any company that hire outside of the US, please let me know. I sure will. Naturally said, is your social security number required to apply? It depends. Most companies, yes. If you're going to be working for a company where they actually hire you as an employee, yes. Now, if you're working as an independent contractor, no. I haven't had to supply my social security number to any of my independent contractor contracts. But if you're getting hired as an employee, for example, with like American Express, yes. You have to supply your social security number. You want to know why? Because you're going to be working with people's credit card numbers. You're going to be working with people's bank accounts, different things like that. So they do have to run background checks and stuff like that on you to make sure you're not a criminal. You're working with people money. Okay. So if you're working as an employee for these companies, yes. Independent contractor, no. Casey, can you find any jobs where we pick how many hours to work and what type? No phone jobs because I have a baby. I mean, those jobs are out there, but I'll be 100% honest with you, Kay. They are few and far between. All right. There are a ton of non-phone jobs out there, but there are so many people that are looking for non-phone jobs. The probability of you finding one fast is probably not going to happen. I'm not going to say it's impossible because it's not. There are plenty of non-phone jobs out there that you can always apply. So I always tell people, regardless of whether or not you think that you are qualified for a job, apply anyway. Okay. A lot of people look at these companies such as American Express. They're like, well, I don't have any experience. My thing, I always ask people, have you ever done anything in customer service where you actually worked with a customer? If you've done anything like that, you have customer service experience, apply to the job anyway. Do not sell yourself short, all right? Because you will be the very person who would apply to this job, receive the interview, and receive, and get offered the position. Okay. These are multiple positions. I don't want anybody to think it's just one job. Because when American Express says they're hiring customer service professionals, it's multiple positions. So don't think, oh, well, I'm not going to waste my time applying because they're not going to contact me. Trust me, that's how you miss out on amazing opportunities. Trust me when I tell you this, okay? Tiffany Carter said, with Fancy Hands, is it a fee to get started? No, Fancy Hands is free. No, it's not a fee to get started. And that's another thing that a lot of people have asked me about when it comes to paying money for to work from home. Let me tell you something. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have to pay a dime to get started working from home. Now, I do have to let everybody know that sometimes, okay, sometimes company will require you to pay for your own background check and things like that. They will require you to pay for your own background check and your drug test. And I know a lot of people may be like, well, why do I need to take a drug test if I'm going to be working from home? You're still going to be an employee of these companies, even if you're working from home. And I'm speaking on companies that hire you as an employee, okay? Some companies, not all, require you to pay for your own background check and your own drug screen. A simple Google search on reviews to make sure that it's legitimate. That's all you have to do. But you have to think about it. The reason why some companies, not all, require you to pay for your own background check and your own drug test is because a lot of people waste their time. If you know for a fact that you have a lot of things that are negative on your background check, or if you know for a fact that you're, maybe smoking a little bit of weed every now and then, even though I feel like, it's recreational. I don't smoke, but I don't feel like people should be denied opportunities just because they smoke a little weed. But again, that's my personal opinion, and that's not, that's just the way the world is nowadays. But they're not going to waste their time, and they're not going to waste their money if you know for a fact that you got something on your background check, if you're on drugs or whatever. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to waste your money to pay for that. But they know if they pay for this background check and this background check and this drug test, and you're on some bull crap, they're out of money. But they know that if you are on some bull crap, you probably not going to pay for it because you already know. Okay. So that's why a lot of these companies do require you to pay for your own background check and your own drug screen. But that's not always. Most companies pay for it for you, but there are some companies that require you to do it on your own. Hi, Carrie. Tyra said, is Live Ops taking Pizza Hut orders legit? Yes, it is. But the thing about that, Tyra, I've also heard about this other company that hired workers to take Pizza Hut orders, but I think that you have to, there's like a fee that you have to pay every month to work for them. I think it's kind of like a rise, if I'm not 100% mistaken. But yes, Live Ops is a 100% legitimate company that you guys can apply to. Let me continue on with my talking points. And for those of you, there are a lot of people who want to know what I do for work right now. Okay. Of course, I still work from home. Lord, I hope and pray, okay, that I'm able to work at home for the rest of my natural life. I'm just saying. But currently, again, most of these companies do require you to sign what is called a non-disclosure agreement. And what a non-disclosure agreement is basically you're not able to talk about the workings of what the company is. You're not able to give any names, any specifics or anything like that. So they do require you to sign this non-disclosure agreement. That way you're not, going out there blabbing out information and stuff. But I can give you a little bit of a synopsis of what I do from home currently. I'm pretty sure you guys are aware, like if you call a company, sometimes you hear the recording come on before you talk to someone that says this call may be recorded or monitored for quality assurance. Without me going too much into detail and without me giving any names of any companies or anything like that, that's basically what I do. I don't actually talk to customers on the phone. I don't, talk, but I'm the person that listens to the phone call after the phone call is placed, and I pretty much just, assess the phone call after the call is done for quality assurance. I also work for again, because I told y'all I have multiple jobs that I do from home. That's the first job I do. The other job that I do is I do lead generation for HVAC companies. That's one of the reasons why during the winter time and during the summer months, I'm like super busy. Okay. I'm like super busy because it's cold and there are a lot of people who are sending in email requests and different things like that, saying that their heater broke, their furnace broke, during the summer, their air conditioner broke, even water heaters. A lot of people deal with water heater issues. So I also do lead generation for HVAC companies. And I also, like I said, I have 3 jobs currently. I have 3 jobs currently. The other job that I do is I help this company. Again, I sign non-disclosure agreements for all 3 of these companies. So I can't give any names specifically, but I can tell you guys that, the workings of a little bit of what I do. The third company that I work for, I help this company with their website pricing. I also help them basically delete any like discontinued items off of their website, and I also help with their website security. And they basically call it, an information analyst. They always have to give these jobs, these fancy names or whatever. So those are the 3 jobs that I do now. All 3 of those jobs, y'all might be like, well, how are you able to do all 3 of those jobs? That's one of the reasons why it's very rare that I come on here, because I work so much. And the reason why I work so much is because I know that the work at home industry, it is very competitive and you have to stay on your P's and Q's. Okay. So you definitely need to keep multiple eggs in your basket. But with all 3 of these companies, I'm able to make my own hours. So one day I might pick a specific day where I'm going to work just say 10, 12 hours on one job, the next day, 10, 12 hours on the next, 10, 12 hours on the next one. Because I'm working sometimes 6, 7 days a week. It's very rare that I take a day off. Very, very rare that I take a day off. I'm always working. And I like it that way. Don't get me wrong, because I feel like I'm working from home. Don't get me wrong. Another thing that I do love about working from home is that if I have a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment, I don't have to tell my boss that I have a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment. I just go to my appointment. Or just say, for instance, I need to go out of town for that day. I don't have to tell anybody that I'm going out of town for that day. I just go. Okay. And that way, and not only that, I can take my laptop with me and I can go to the hotel or wherever I'm going and I can work from that hotel. That's one of the things that I love about it, but I'm able to make my own hours. Okay. I'm going to go back to some of the questions now. Joanne said, are there any part-time work from home jobs? Yes, there are tons. Okay. Tons of part-time work at home jobs. You might be able to find more part-time work at home jobs than you're able to find full-time work at home jobs, to be honest with you. But yes, there are tons of part-time work at home jobs. Again, make sure, for those of you that are watching, go to my website. It's down in the description box. I just updated some work at home jobs that are currently hiring right now on my website. I'm going to be updating it again this morning. So y'all make sure y'all go and check it out. Like I said, there's so much money out here on the internet to be made. Okay. I don't want anybody to think that they can't make money from home, because you can. Okay. It can be done. But I really don't like when people sell themselves short. I don't think I have the experience to do that. If you've ever worked in any type of customer service capacity, you have the experience. Okay. You have the experience. Just apply. Hell, I felt like I didn't have no experience to do any of this stuff when I first started. Like I said, I was working before I started working at the abuse shelter, I worked for an inventory company. Okay. I worked for that inventory company from the time I was 18 until I was about 24. Okay. No, 18 until I was about 23. When I turned 23, that's when I started working at the abuse shelter. When I was at the abuse shelter, it was a very rewarding experience, but I felt like I wasn't making enough money. And I felt like, girl, you need to do something else. That's when I found out about workplacelikehome.com. And that's how I just so happened to be in the right place at the right time that particular day. Now, what I will say is that I hate the fact that, because workplacelikehome.com helped me find several of my work at home jobs. I don't know exactly what happened with the website, but it's no longer active. Okay. It was hundreds of thousands of people who work from home, who were very, helpful people. They told you the ins and outs. They gave you reviews on the company. Because if it was ever a company out there that you wanted to apply to that you weren't really 100% sure about, if you were like, I'm not sure if this company is gonna, if there's a scam, or if they're, if they pay on time, anything like that. There are a lot of people that were on these websites who either in the past worked for these companies or currently work for those companies, and they can tell you whatever you wanted to know. And there were a lot of people on there who would legit post if the company that they were currently working for was hiring. And a lot of times they would give you a referral. And because, like I said, it's not always what you know, but who you know. A lot of times if you put that person's name down, and these people were so nice, a lot of the people didn't even know you personally, but they knew how competitive the work at home job world is, that they were able to step out on a limb and give you that referral to for you to be able to land that job. Okay. Mako said, how did you find that job? What sites do you find your jobs? Oh my God. I always tell people this. You can go to Indeed.com. Indeed.com has so many, okay? Indeed.com has so many work at home. All you got to do is type in work at home on Indeed.com. They also have this other website called flexjobs.com. But to be perfectly honest with you, again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. A lot of the clients that I currently work for are clients that I found out about through other people. Okay. And that ties back into, it's not what you know, it's who you know. There are a lot of jobs out there on the internet that you can find on your own. Again, you can go to Indeed.com. You can go to flexjobs.com. Now, flex jobs, you do have to pay. It's a paid form. And the reason why it's a paid form, and I pay for it with absolutely no problem. And the reason why I pay for it is because these people who actually search for these jobs, they do full background checks. They do full screenings to make sure that these companies are 100% legitimate. They do not put any scams or anything like that on their website. Same goes for my website. People always ask me about that as well. I always tell people, I'm not going to put anything on my website that's a scam. Okay. Every job that I share on Work at Home Job Queen, WAHjobqueen.com. Okay. Every job that I share on there, I did some research on, and I made sure that they were 100% legit. I'm not going to put no ranky dank stuff on my website. Number one, I wouldn't want nobody to do that to me. Okay. And I always like people to understand that if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. All right. But there are plenty of work at home jobs out there that you can do where you can make upwards of $20+ per hour. Absolutely no problem. All right. Mako said, thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. You're welcome. Juna said, what about health insurance, Thick Chick? Now, I also had that in my talking points. Thank you so much, Juna, for getting me back on track. As far as health insurance, as far as the company is concerned, some companies actually pay full health insurance benefits for you. For example, Apple is one of those companies that, as a matter of fact, Apple actually gives you your equipment to work with. They'll send you your computer. They send you all of the equipment that you need to work from home. They give you a iMac computer to work from. Basically, what you'll be doing, I'm going to talk about I'm not going to go into the workings of what Apple does, but I'll talk about a lot of these companies before I leave off of here. But Apple sends you your equipment, and Apple offers full health insurance and dental benefits. Same goes for American Express. A lot of these companies that hire you on as an employee full-time, not all of them, but most of the companies that hire you on as an employee full-time, and my hair is starting to stick up, girl. No, don't do this to me. That hire you as an employee full-time, they will actually pay for your health insurance and your dental insurance and give you 401k and all of that stuff. These are 100% legitimate companies, as the same as you would be working if you went outside of your home. The only difference is you have a home office, you have a landline, you have, reliable internet and all of that stuff. And they'll actually pay you just like you're working in a call center. Okay. Me personally, because I am, my website is in the description box, and me personally, because I am an independent contractor, I pay for my own health insurance. Okay. They actually have individual plans that you can choose from on BlueCrossBlueShield.com. And of course, depending on your age and things like that, it can be rather expensive. I'm not, what they, I guess, would consider to be someone who is old enough to have a whole lot of health issues, I guess. So I don't pay a whole lot. It is rather expensive for my health insurance coverage, but my dental insurance, I only pay $32 a month for it. And I'm able to get cleanings. Matter of fact, I got a $900 crown in my mouth back here that I only paid $200 for because my insurance covered the rest. I got all type of, matter of fact, I went and got some tooth colored fillings put in on this side of my mouth. I had the you know how they put the silver fillings in your mouth when you're a little kid. My dentist actually recommended that I get the silver colored fillings removed and get the tooth colored fillings because there's a lot of problems that go on with the silver fillings. My insurance paid for all of that, and I only pay $32 a month for my Blue Cross Blue Shield dental insurance. My health insurance, I think I pay $142, and I don't think that's horrible, to be honest. I don't think it's horrible that I pay $142. I've heard people who actually work for companies who pay more than that for their health insurance coverage. But depending on the company, they will pay your health insurance, they'll pay your dental, they'll also give you 401k, retirement, all of that stuff. And a couple of those companies include Apple, American Express, and there are several other companies out there that allow you to get full health insurance benefits. Okay. Connie said there's a website called We Work Remotely that has a lot of work from home. There's a lot of websites out there that share work at home jobs. Simply said a lot of the job description will also say remote. Yes. You can either type in work at home, remote, anything like that, and it'll pull up. Let's say I know people who pay $300. Yes, exactly. There are plenty of people out there who pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars per month on their health insurance. Like I said, and it's crazy. Kay said, are there any part-time data entry jobs that pay by the hour? I'm not sure at this exact moment, Kay, but like I said, I'm going to be updating my website as soon as I get off here. So make sure you check my website in about maybe an hour and a half or something like that. And also make sure you follow my work at home page on Facebook, because when I share the jobs on my Facebook page, I also share them on when I put them on my website, I also share them on my Facebook page for those people who don't necessarily check the website every day. Okay. Connie said, do these places usually renew your contract, or do you have to keep looking for a new place when the contract ends? This one particular company, Connie, I've been working for, like I said, I keep eggs in my basket. I've been working for them since 2014. So it's been 4 years. So it really depends. A lot of times they don't have a set date as to how long the contract will go on for. Some companies just, they hire you. If you keep a good working rapport, it'll just keep going on indefinitely. Like this particular company that I work for now, number one, because I do my work and I make sure that everything is 100% correct. They don't have to worry about stuff getting backed up and all of that stuff, because I make sure that I keep my work. I keep my work in order. Okay. And I make sure I keep everything how it's supposed to be. And I keep a healthy working relationship with the contract manager. That way, if I ever have an issue, as a matter of fact, when I went out of town to New York in September, when I had a death in the family, I was gone for 24 hours to where I couldn't be near my computer. And again, I make my own hours, but at the same time, I knew this particular company it was during a time where we were really busy. So I did reach out to my contract manager, and I basically told him, I was like, look, I have an emergency where I have to go out of town. So, things might get a little backed up, but when I get where I'm going, I'll make sure that I, clean it up. And he was, because I have such a good relationship with them, they were like, handle your business, handle your business. If you need to be gone for, a week, that's fine. We'll take care of everything. So like I said, as long as you have a good working relationship with people, they'll keep you going. Okay. They'll keep it going. Thank you so much, Kay. Somebody said I work for a healthcare facility and pay $250 just for me. Girl, that's why I said, it's expensive out here. Lucina said, I noticed that a lot of positions are not available in the Alaska area. Yes. There are a lot of companies that will hire out of all states, with the exception of, most of the time, one of the states that I see that companies don't hire out of is Alaska. They don't hire out of California, places like that. I don't know why, but they don't. Shannon says, simple, does that healthcare company hire outside of the USA? Okay. Now let me go back to my working points. Y'all can post any questions that you have for me in the comment section, and I'll be sure to answer those questions before I get up off of here. Okay, so I talked about the insurance. I talked about having to pay taxes at the end of the year when you're an independent contractor, as opposed to when you're an employee, and all of that. So I basically talked about everything. Now I'm just going to be taking questions again. Okay, there's so much money to be made out here on the internet, y'all. So much money to be made online. All you got to do is apply for it. Do not sell yourself short. Even if a company says you have to have X amount of experience, you got to have a degree. A lot of times these companies will say you need to have a degree. Don't necessarily listen to that. Okay. Don't necessarily listen to that because it's not always the case. A lot of times it will say degree preferred. And when they say degree preferred, it just means they prefer you to have a degree. It doesn't mean that you have to have one. Okay. Keep that in mind. Do not sell yourself short. If you worked at McDonald's, okay, Burger King, if you worked at the hospital where you work around people, if you've done anything where you were working with people, you have customer service experience, period. Okay. Do not sell yourself short because I promise you, I don't care if you've been applying for work at home jobs for 5, 10 years and you haven't gotten one. That very time you apply to a specific job, you might get that phone call. So don't sell yourself short. It's a lot of money to be made on the internet. Okay. Thank you for information. What is the name of your Facebook page? It's down in the description box. Determined. Just type in WAH job queen and it'll come up. Or you can just type in legitimate work at home jobs and it should pop up. But the exact link is down in the description box. Simply said it's a definite no unless you try. Absolutely. That's the point. You never know unless you try. There are people out here who, girl, all I'm going to say is do not sell yourself short. I cannot say that enough. I say that so much. And one thing that really irks my nerves that I do not like is when there are people out here who are so down on their look and you have people that love to take advantage of them. That I don't like that. Okay. Because I was one of those people who was, I felt like I was at a dead end job and I felt like I wasn't, ever going to be able to get myself out of that situation. And I was literally applying for all types of scammy stuff where people were requiring me to, like I said, I fell victim to the whole stuffing envelope scam, but that was when I was very young. I think I was like 19 years old and I was in college and I heard these people talking about you can make $2,000 a day stuffing envelopes from home. And I remember sending them people, I think it was like $25. They're talking about sending them $25 and they'll send you they'll send you all of the supplies that you need to be able to work from home. I've done all of that. Okay. So I don't want anybody to think that they're the only ones out there that have fell victims of scams. But again, I always say, if it sounds too good to be true, okay. If it sounds too good to be true, 9 times out of 10, it probably is going to be too good to be true. There are also a lot of people out there who tell people that they can get they would like them to get packages and things sent to their homes. That's scammy too. A lot of people who say that they want people to get, have packages sent to your home. A lot of that stuff is people who steal people's credit card information. They order a bunch of stuff online, or a lot of times it's illegal stuff. Okay. It's illegal stuff that they'll have sent to your house and they'll want you to take it to the post office and have it sent somewhere else. Don't do that. All of that stuff is scammy. Okay. All of that stuff is 100% scammy. Hi, Polo. Thank you so much. I'm good, Kimberly. How are you? Degrees, lack of experience, just try, apply, and have faith. Amen. Amen and amen again. Thank you, Betty. But again, if you guys don't have any more questions, just know that that's basically how I started work from home, and that's how I make a full-time income working from home. Check out my website down in the description box. Also, make sure if you're on Facebook, you follow my Work at Home Job Facebook page. That link is also down in the description box for you guys to check it out. It's money. It's enough money out here for everybody. Okay. It's enough money out here for everybody to get a little bit. If you knew and you just so happen to stumble across this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell because I'm a very impromptu person. Like I said, girl, I work upwards of 60+ hours per week. Sometimes I work 70. 80. Okay. I be doing the absolute most. Like I said, I work 7 days a week, sometimes 12, sometimes 15 hours a day. Yeah. I don't really get no sleep. And I still try to come on YouTube and give y'all a little bit of a chuckle every now and then, girl. Just saying. Also thumbs this video up if you like these informative work at home job videos. I will continue to do them. So thumbs the video up for you, girl, and all of that good stuff. And, I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much, Tanya. Thank you, Polo. You're so sweet. I love y'all, but for real, it's a lot of money out here to be made, y'all. So do not sell yourself short. Apply. apply anyway. A lot of times it's not what you know, it's who you know. Get your foot in the door, and it's going to be like a domino effect, and you're going to be able to continue to land them work at home jobs to where you're actually going to be able to afford to pay your bills, okay? And you're going to be able to live a very comfortable life because it's going to be very profitable for you. So don't sell yourself short. Check out my website, check out Facebook down in the description box, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.